This is Nisreen from Nisreen's Art World. In this podcast, I will share my thoughts about different art forms such as films, books, paintings, performing art, etc. Hello, this is Nisreen. Welcome to the 17th episode of my podcast. It's lovely to speak to you again. I named today's episode after the late 90s romcom, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Unlike the film though, I'm going to talk about how I got my creative groove back, not my romantic one. I've been painting and belly dancing to express myself and at times as a professional endeavor for years now. If you're also a creator of any kind, you may have experienced creative slumps. I'd love to share 3 things I stopped doing to get out of times I was in a creative slump. I hope they resonate with you. 1. Stop being a perfectionist. As the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron points out, perfectionism can block your creativity. When we are frustrated with our painting, writing, or dancing, it often comes from the gap between our expectations and reality. This applies to language study as well. We think, why am I still making such basic mistakes? Why do I sound so awkward? What about the time, money, sweat and tears spent on learning? Do they even mean anything? Once we start doubting ourselves, it's hard to maintain motivation. We burn out, or even if we keep going, it feels less productive. It's like a car trying to race without enough petrol. After experiencing burnout, I learned to be nicer to myself. Instead of expecting to produce a masterpiece in a year, I started embracing my everyday efforts. I made sure to dance and draw every day, or at least every other day, for any amount of time. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 5 minutes. Rather than doing a lot at once and burning out, this little by little strategy works for me. This may depend on the individual. Some may find the daily routine more stressful and prefer being spontaneous. The point is to find the best way for you to nurture your inner artist. Never beat up your inner artist. They are very sensitive. 2. Stop being preoccupied all the time. I mentioned this briefly in episode 3 as well. The quality of my sleep improved dramatically after I stopped updating my online platforms and responding to texts in bed, both at night and in the morning. This may have to do with the effect of blue light, but it's absolutely psychological as well. I decided to focus on the nice feelings of stretching, breathing deeply, and cuddling my fur babies before and after sleeping. Only after taking enough time to deflate myself do I start responding to texts and social media comments. Until I started this new habit, I hadn't realized how much having mental space matters for my creativity. Like when our computer memories get full, my productivity drops when I don't relax enough. No offense to Elon Musk, but related to this, deleting my Twitter aka X account was also a game changer. When I used to tweet daily, my mind was never completely free from new discussions and controversies, not to mention rampant online bullying. Of course, such issues are common on social media. However, I have never seen that level of malice and shadiness on any other online platform. In addition, the platform is specifically designed for people to literally tweet their minds all the time, in most cases anonymously. Being exposed to unfiltered voices felt like a great way to take away the creative space in my mind. When I deleted my first Twitter account, I felt liberated. It was when I was commuting by train to work in Tokyo. I applied the commuting time that I used to use for tweeting to my English study. This helped me score highly in an English exam and even find a new job. Finally, 3. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. As mentioned earlier, both visual art and performing are important media in which I express myself. However, until the age of 16 or 17, my whole life was about visual art. My family, my schoolmates, and even I viewed myself as the artsy girl who was always drawing. Drawing gave me a sense of identity. But it could also create pressure sometimes. What if I couldn't enter an art university? What if I ended up penniless and lonely like those artists in history? Furthermore, always drawing is not necessarily the healthiest state, especially for a child. Through the experience of being humiliated in PE class, I labeled myself as slow and unathletic and stayed away from exercise. Drawing did not give me an awareness of my body. Therefore, when I became a teenager, my back was hunched, my limbs were as lank as spaghetti, and I was always daydreaming. This may also have been because I was sacrificing my bedtime for drawing. This detachment from reality and pressure to succeed as an artist gradually consumed me. I'd call it my first and biggest creative block. I learned about a route to change when I took a couple of belly dance classes while in high school. I fell in love with the music. I took more dance classes when I became a university student. Through dancing, I learned how to pay attention to my posture. I learned how to train my muscles. I learned that my body was not totally incompetent. It just needed some practice. Being able to express myself in a physical way was a great help psychologically as well. It also reduced my pressure around drawing. As a result, I eventually found joy in drawing again. Drawing and dancing are now almost complementary for me. I know this is a rather unusual experience, but the point is to allow ourselves to have different ways of self-expression. In my dancing specifically, trying different dance styles has helped me get through artistic blocks. Though artistic communities tend to have a culture of stoicism, it is important to be flexible with our emotional needs. There you go. Stop being a perfectionist, stop being preoccupied all the time, and stop putting all your eggs in one basket. These are my personal experiences, so they may not apply to you. The important thing is to pay attention to your own needs and look after yourself. As Julia Cameron said, quote, "Treating yourself like a precious object will make you strong." Unquote. What did you think? I'd be delighted if you wrote a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts or gave a rating on Spotify. It would be lovely if you share the episode on social media as well. And of course, you are more than welcome to let me know your thoughts through the contact form in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now.